Hey folks, I'm Ian Baker, and today we are going to talk about the basic operation as well as some quick troubleshooting tips on the Furrion 3-burner range with oven. This is a fantastic unit. You'll see that it does have the cover on here, which I always like. But one of the things I want to talk about is the cover itself. So this is a tempered glass, and while it is, nice and you can use it as a basic prep space, you do not want to set any kind of pans on here. It's not really built for it, especially hot pans. You will crack the glass. You'll have all sorts of problems. I've seen it before. People are putting hot pans on there thinking it's okay. It's not. Anything more than, like a small cutting board or bowl or something like that, that's really it. And don't cut on here either. I've seen people try to use it as a cutting board. Please don't do that either. So to access the burners, you're going to flip it up and back, and you do have to flip it up and back. I've also seen people think that it's like a glass cooktop. That is not the case. You have to flip it up and out of the way to be able to get the burners. Same thing, when you go to put that cover down, please make sure that everything is cooled. You don't want to set that down on top of hot burners. So let's talk about how to get your cooktop going. First of all, make sure your propane is on. And then these ones are super simple. You will see the knobs indicate which burner it activates. And so this one does have a spark ignition, which is great. So let's go ahead and do this front center one here. What you're going to do is you're going to push in on the knob. You're going to turn it to that flame setting, and then you're going to click it. And that's it. Then you can control the size of the flame you want, just like that. Same thing for all the rest of them. Super simple and easy to use. Now, the cool quick thing about this one is this one has a spark ignition for the oven too, and I'm going to show you that. But before I do, I want to talk about a couple safety concerns. One of them is please do not try to use this as a heat source, folks. It is never a good idea to use an open flame as a heat source. One, because it's an open flame, and that just increases the chance for fire, and that's the last thing you want. Also, because in order for a flame to burn, it has to absorb oxygen. Well, you're inside an RV with a limited amount of oxygen. So, you don't want to try to use this as a heat source. Go to sleep. You may never wake up. Please, please, please don't do that. This is purely meant for cooking. Now, another safety concern is with the oven, and I've seen this, unfortunately, too. Because this one does have a spark ignition, what people do is they go to spark it and they walk away and keep the oven door closed, and that is not what you want to do. You want to open the oven door up for a couple reasons. One, to let air in. In the event that there's a time discrepancy between when you start the gas flow and hit the igniter, you don't want a fireball. You want a place for the gas to be able to escape. So you want to keep the oven door open. Plus, again, for safety, you want to know that the thing is actually lit. So what you're going to do here is you're going to, very similar to what we did with the cooktops, you're just going to turn it to that flame setting. You're going to look in there, and then you're going to click it. And if you look down there, you will see that the pilot light is now lit. You can see it right back there, right? And so you're going to hold it for a few seconds and then slowly let off, and that pilot should stay lit, which it has. And as long as it's on that flame setting, that pilot is good. Now, to turn it, you're just going to turn just like that. You're going to be able to control the temperature. And if you take a look in there, you will see that the burners are starting to light up. And there we go. And that wraps up the basic usage. So what about some troubleshooting? Well, if it's not lighting, the first thing I would always check is propane, folks. That's going to be the fuel source. You'll want to make sure that you have propane in your tank, and if you have 2 propane tanks, make sure the proper one is selected. If you have selected the right tank and you're still having issues, and it's and nothing is lighting at all, well then again it's probably still a propane issue. So that's when you're going to want to check your regulator. And so what I would do for a quick reset is turn off the propane for about 10 minutes, then slowly turn it back on, and that should reset that regulator so that way you are getting nice even propane flow into the camper. If that is still, that's still happening, but it's still not lighting, or maybe 2 of the burners are lighting, but one of them isn't, well, then you're going to want to check the burner assembly itself. Make sure that, your sparker isn't all jammed up or gummed up. Same thing with the burner and the burner tube. Just make sure everything is cleaned off because that can, again, affect the ability of it to light. So that's going to be kind of your basic troubleshooting tips. Again, for safety, folks, please remember, not a heat source. Leave the oven open and make sure that it lights correctly before you shut that oven door, and you'll be a master chef in no time.